So every CRM, customer relationship management tool, is a little bit different. That said, there are some commonalities and there's some things that you can make sure your managers are doing throughout the day by living in the CRM that will help drive an appointment culture. So the first thing that they need to do, and they need to have it open throughout the day, is their appointment log, but also their desk log. And they need to do a constant toggle between the two. Now you want to keep your desk log accurate to within 5 minutes. What does that mean? It means that if you've got someone sitting in the F&I department, right, they've been on the dealership lot for 2 hours, and you just now put them in the CRM tool, that's a problem. Here's another problem that happens in the desk log all the time, and that is someone who was entered in the desk log yesterday. Their desk log visit was never closed out, and so our CRM thinks they've been trapped in our dealership for 14 hours. So you want to make sure your desk log is accurate to within 5 minutes. And finally, what I mean by that is I want to be able to look at the desk log in the CRM, and if it says there are 5 people on the showroom floor, I want to be able to look out on the showroom floor and count 5 people, 5 different groups of people that are working with my sales teams. And so it's important that your sales team enter the folks in the CRM accurately, and that you keep track of the activities as they go through the meet and greet, and as they go through the needs analysis and the trade appraisal, the touch desk, whatever pieces, the turnover, whatever pieces that are important to you that you've put in your CRM that you want to track, you want to make sure that those get logged properly as they go through those steps. And finally, you want to make sure your appointment log is accurate to within 1 minute, because remember, appointments are everything. So if I have a 12:15 appointment and it's 12:15, I want the salesperson on the phone with that prospect to find out where they are. And remember, we don't call them up and say, hey, where the hell are you? We call them up and we say, hey, it's Steve Stauning calling from Century Toyota. I just want to make sure you're able to find our facility. And they'll tell you, yeah, I'm on my way, whatever, or I forgot. I need to have the notes from that phone call put into the CRM by 12:16. I want to know within 1 minute what's happening with every appointment that's on my appointment log. See, every manager needs to serve as an expediter in your dealership. An expediter, say if you're in the restaurant business, you know that's the person who works between the kitchen and the wait staff to make sure that if you have a table of 10 and one person ordered a steak and one person ordered a pizza and another person ordered a salad, that those aren't all created at the same time, but rather they all come out at the same time. That's what an expediter does in a restaurant, and middle managers serve as an expediter in your dealership. See, what I mean by an expediter in your dealership is that they are sort of the liaison between the prospect and the salesperson who set the appointment, between the prospect and the lot porter who's going to get the vehicle ready, between the prospect and maybe the salesperson who's going to sell that person a car. See, they need to do real confirmations. They need to make sure that the confirmations are made, but that they're also real. They also need to inspect the pre-appointment preparation. Is it being done? Is it being done on time? If I have an appointment for 2:45 this afternoon and it's 10 a.m., I don't need the lot porter working on that vehicle right now. Heck, we may have someone else who wants to see that vehicle and they may buy it. I may not even need to get it ready for the appointment because maybe I'll be getting it ready for delivery at some other time. So you need to make sure that there's a no-show investigation happening for every single appointment that's scheduled to be here and isn't here yet. So a 12:15 appointment at 12:15, if you're the manager, you need to act as an expediter and make sure that that no-show investigation takes place. I don't mean you make the call, because you don't make the call. The person who set the appointment makes the call, but you need to expedite that. You need to make sure it happens. And finally, you need to make sure that there are status updates throughout the day on all of these appointments. See, every middle manager needs to serve as an expediter. And the last thing that you do throughout the day is you do activity management, right? So you look in the call logs. This is only in the CRM. Remember, we also do it in real life. But I want to look at the call logs throughout the day and manage the activities. I was just at a dealership recently, and this is very typical. Within 5 minutes, one of their salespeople, the day before I got there, had made 41 calls and contacted each person according to the notes they put in the CRM. Now, do the math. You cannot make 41 calls in 5 minutes. Heck, you can't even really dial 41 people and get it to ring and get it to answer and even just hang up on 41 people. You can't do it in 5 minutes. It's not possible. And that's how you manage in the CRM. You manage looking at the call logs throughout the day. So I can look at the call logs, and if it says Bob just made 10 calls and I look over and Bob's outside goofing around, or I never saw Bob on the phone, see, then I can call Bob over and this becomes another training opportunity. So I'm going to do the activity management by looking at the call logs and seeing when people are making calls and the notes that, specifically, the notes they're leaving on each call. I also need to watch the showroom log. The showroom log is the people who are in the showroom at that exact time. See, the desk log is a record of everything that happened throughout the day. The showroom log is what's happening right now. And if it says that we've taken Mrs. Jones on a test drive and that we're about to take her into F&I, but we haven't done a trade appraisal, then our showroom log's not accurate. And you might say, well, Steve, what's it matter as long as we sell the car? It matters a lot, because what we need to understand is how long does it take to do a trade appraisal in our dealership? How long after a customer arrives does it take to do this? What percent of customers do we appraise their trade? What percent of customers where we appraise their trade do they not sell us their vehicle? This is all great data to have, but if we have garbage in the CRM, then we get garbage out of the CRM. And so I want to make sure my showroom log is up to date and accurate, and that's how I'm going to manage some activities. And finally, I'm going to look at current notes on anything that's happening. If I've got an appointment coming in, I'm going to look at those notes. If someone just spoke to someone, I want to look at those notes. I want to read the notes because I want to be able to understand what's happening in the dealership without having to ask anyone questions. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to interact with them throughout the day. I am. But our CRM tool is there for us as managers, because some of those salespeople aren't going to be here in a month or a year or 3 years. Now, wouldn't it be great if the people who worked for us 3 years ago had perfect data in the CRM? Wouldn't it be great if every up who walked on our lot 3 years ago today, that we got their name, their address, their phone number, their email address, and everybody 3 years ago who didn't buy from us, let's say that was 450 people that month who didn't buy from us but came to our lot. What if we had all that information, plus we knew where they bought, why they bought it, and why they didn't buy from us, and all that data was in the CRM? If we had that going back 10 years, we would never have to spend another dollar marketing outside of our dealership again. We would just live in our database. That's how important great data is in our CRM. And for an appointment culture, dealers who are leading an appointment culture, they get it.